What is up, guys? Marty McFly bringing you guys the merch. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be more of a book-related haul. I do have one metal album to show you guys that we'll talk about, but the rest of it's just going to be all books I picked up on a little adventure. I went to a place called Sanibel Island and Captiva Island. They have an absolutely fantastic bookstore called Jeans Books and Jeans Books 2. That's Too. And on this little tiny secluded island, they have an absolute gem of a bookstore. Basically, the genre of book is sectioned into little houses, each of them with their own different brand of music and air conditioning system. Thank God, because it was about 90 degrees outside the other day. And it's probably one of the best bookstores I've ever been to in the history of ever. I mean, I remember Yankees books up in Cape Cod, Massachusetts was one of my favorites. But this one just, it was just so nice. Everything was hardwood flooring and it felt great. Just going through just tons and tons of books. They have the biggest mystery section. I didn't even know there was that many writers writing mystery books ever. It's just one of the best bookstores I've ever been to. It's just very calming, very relaxing. You're on this quiet island, and it just brought me peace. Ever since I graduated med school, I've had a voracious appetite for reading non-medical things as well as studying medical things. But it was just nice to be able to pick up something and think, oh, for once, this doesn't have to deal with enzymes and genetics and medications and pathology. It was just so nice to pick up something different. My mother actually surprised me with something, and it's called True Irish Ghost Stories. And so far, it's been a fantastic read. You can tell the person that wrote this is very well read, spent a lot of time in school perfecting his art, and overall, it's been fantastic. Just enough of good stories to put a chill down your spine. I love Irish history. I love anything about it. If you read one of my previous videos, there is a book called Heroes of Ireland, and that was actually one of my favorite books I've read about history, just Irish history in general. And I've been on a big haunted kick lately, especially after visiting, going on these little haunted night trips that they do in other cities like Savannah, St. Augustine, the Key West, things like that. So if you have a yearn for that type of reading, True Irish Ghost Stories was fantastic so far. Like I said, I've had just a voracious appetite for just general reading. This is a book called by Stacy Schiff. This is called The Witches. This is about the Salem witch trials. A very unfortunate subject that happened to people, and I'm glad, for the most part, we're lucky enough to not have to deal with these things, although we have plenty of other things that are going on in society today. What I do like about it is some of these books are used, and they cut the prices down in half, and if they are used, I can't tell. They look brand new to me. The next one is something I've heard a lot about. I've never actually read any of his books, but I've always wanted to, and I feel like this is the best place to start. This is David McCullough's 1776. One of my best friends read this. Both my brother and his wife read this. They said it's a fantastic read. This is exactly what it sounds like, 1776. It's around that time. We're talking about George Washington. We're talking about John Adams, Declaration of Independence, everything that's going around that time. And I love history. I love American and world history, but this sounds like a good read and a good place to start. And this was the last one I picked up. I have two more that I picked up there. This one I pulled off the shelf immediately because I didn't want anyone else to have it except me. I've always wanted a good book on heavy metal, and there are so many out there. One I want to pick up one day is called Choosing Death. It's exactly what it sounds about. It's about death metal. But I believe it's about the Swedish melodic death metal scene. If I'm incorrect, please correct me, but I think that was the book. There's several other books on the melodic death metal scene coming out of Gothenburg, but I've always wanted to read about that. This one is Sound of the Beast, the complete headbanging history of heavy metal. Now, I have heard a couple of reviews that it was a good book. However, the author, clearly loved the Metallica way too much, and that's all he talks about, so that's unfortunate. Love Metallica, but obviously there's way more to choose from. You're talking about early jazz roots, early classical roots. You don't only need to talk about Metallica, despite the massive, mammoth impact they had on the heavy metal and rock world. But this is the second book I've gotten about heavy metal history. The first one is Paradise Lost, written by David Gelka. It was a fantastic read. If you haven't read that, definitely pick that up. It's a hardback book. They might be sold out already. That is the book about the history of Great Britain's Paradise Lost, and it's a fantastic read. definitely recommend it if you pick that up. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this, though. The next one is called Brilliant Beacons. This was also pretty cheap. They slashed the price half and half. Basically, this is the historical background of lighthouses and where they come from, and I read the first couple of chapters. Very well written. You know, the history is just palpable, and you could taste the sea in the air when you're reading this. So far, so good. It's the first couple of chapters talk about as far back as the American Revolution and going up into the Civil War, things like that. So far, a fantastic read. And last but not least, I found this at Mojo's Records over in Tampa, Florida, one of my favorite stores of all time. I'm sure you guys are getting sick of me talking about it. But anyone who knows me, if I'm going to Mojo's, nothing good's going to happen, and they're going to take my money. So this is the autobiography of Steve Jobs. Now, I recall one of my best friends reading this back in high school, and I really didn't know. I wasn't into autobiographies at all. Didn't really think this would be something I'd want to read. I got through a couple chapters in like 5 seconds. It's a fantastic read. It's just so well done, so well written. Now this guy has done like biographies of Einstein. You know, if you feel like you can get up on that altar, the guy who wrote this is very well read, very well written, and it's an easy read. It's very visceral. You know, you feel like you're right there listening to this story, and you learn a lot about this guy. Chances are, if you hung out with this guy growing up, the guy was probably an asshole. But it's a fantastic read. It really gives you appreciation for the background of Apple, the background of tech, Silicon Valley, and just the beginnings and why we are tech driven today. And it's a wonderful read. I'm so glad I picked it up. You'll get through this in 5 seconds. Honestly, it won't take me long to get through this, but it's been a fantastic read. I'm so glad I picked it up. You really get to learn about this guy and his family and just everything and why he was driving the way things the way he drove them, and gives you a lot more respect for this guy. So that is it for me. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me. That is my book haul. I know we did things a little bit differently today, and we are going to talk about one CD because this is the merch. This is Shai Hulud with Misanthropy Pure. Found this for a couple of bucks over at Sound Exchange in Pinellas over in St. Petersburg, one of my favorite record stores in the state of Florida. Misanthropy Pure. This is going back to the Trustkill Records era. I mean, this is hardcore. This is the LA hardcore scene, basically, in a nutshell. It's everything you want to love. It's got a little bit of mathcore to it, a lot of just erratic rhythms, but just that good old-fashioned, you know, Misery Signals terror LA hardcore scene, if you want to call it that. I know Misery Signals is half from Canada, but it's just a fantastic record. It's very quick, to the point. I remember hearing about these guys when I think the first time I ever heard a song from them, it was actually Misanthropy Pure is on the Headbangers Ball album #2. So that's about the merch for today. It was $2.99 over at Sound Exchange in Pinellas. Really cheap for a fantastic album. So I know we did things a little bit different today, guys, but thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. We got a whole bunch of books to read. We got a whole bunch of merch to listen to. Thank you guys so much, and hang in there, stay strong, take care of each other, and stay healthy. We look forward to seeing you guys around sometime. All right? Bye.